All right, good morning, everyone. We're live. This is going to be a fun one. Just want to let everyone know I'm not in my usual attire. I'm not able to change my shirt yet. So I did have my shoulder surgery yesterday, and my left shoulder is still like a wet noodle. So I would do my best chatting in the comments, but everything's not going to be, there's no caps. I'm not going to, everything's all lowercase I'm going to use. But we got Liam back, agent investor in Pittsburgh, and first time on the live stream with us. But if you don't know who that is, I did an interview with Carlos recently, so go check him out on my YouTube page. But Carlos, the handyman investor. So welcome, Carlos.
Oh, thank you guys or Mark, thanks for inviting me, and thank you for inviting me again.
No, man, I think you're gonna be a great fit here. Hopefully, this can be a regular thing. But quickly, if they haven't seen our interview, maybe give like a 60-second spiel about who you are and what are you working on.
Definitely. Well, I am, as the title says, handyman to investor. I've been doing investing when the market was at a certain peak, and I got involved. Just being, knowing what was going on, and I just kind of walked into it, and the rest has been history. It's been about 3, 4 years that we've been doing. Just last year, I kind of was on a pause. I got diagnosed with cancer, and I'm in remission right now. And what I'm doing right now is kind of rebuilding what the momentum I lost. So, but I'm excited that I'm here. I'm excited that I got this opportunity of life, an opportunity to do it again, but this time I think with a twist, and I think this video Zoom is for anybody who is like wondering, how do I do this? Is this the right time? Well, I'm gonna hopefully answer that some of those questions by my experience, my knowledge, and just what I've lived lived through. And so I'm excited, Mark, to be here, and Liam, nice to meet you.
You too, Carlos. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a fun one. So, like I said, little clickbaity title,
Mhm.
whatnot. So maybe before Liam goes, Carlos, give us a short, quick answer. Is 2025 a dumb year to buy real estate?
Honestly, it is not. And if you've been doing the work, and if you've been preparing yourself, this is probably the most ultimate time to do it. This is the time where the tire meets the road, and I think anybody who and I consider myself lucky when I first started flipping. I didn't understand the market. I just dove in. But this time, if you've been doing sharpening your blade and studying and looking at patterns and looking at the market, this will probably be the best time you want to do it. Now, I say it because I'm observing, I'm watching, I'm more conscious of what's going on, and I think this will probably be the best time to. What Michael Zuber on one renter at a time would say, this would be the best time to buy your legacy property, the property that can change everything. And so that's where I'm at. I'm doing the work. I'm doing, and I think the work starts with you, with ourselves. And so, in a nutshell, yes, this is the best time to buy. This is the best time to to flex the muscle you've been working on.
I love that. So before Liam goes, I just want to remind everyone if you want to connect with Liam, know more about the Pittsburgh real estate market and whatnot, his Instagram, the Team Taggart Team PGH, is in the chat. So go subscribe and follow there. Also, Carlos's YouTube channel that he just started. So we can dig into that
Right.
a little bit later. But go please go subscribe to Carlos's channel and also his Instagram page. So if you need a handyman out in Fresno, go reach out to him. But Liam, what would you have to say to that? Would you say it's a dumb time to buy in 2025?
No, I think it's definitely still a good time to buy. I do think anecdotally it's a little bit harder now than in years past. Like it takes a bit more nuance. Like you want to have your blade sharpened, kind of look at things a little bit differently. It's not kind of we're not riding the hype cycle we were a few years ago. But so it's a little bit harder. Some deals, like the fixer deals, are a little bit harder to pencil. Some of the flips are taking a little bit harder to sell on the back end. But I think that creates opportunities too. If you know what you're doing and you're working with good people and making sure you're doing things the right way, you're still definitely going to succeed. So definitely still a good time to buy. We're seeing more inventory too, so that kind of creates a bit more of a buyer's market. Uh, can get some better deals on the front end. So yeah, well, I'm still seeing it as a great time to buy. Just looking at things, making sure you're doing your due diligence a bit more, um, not buying off of hype, but off of like
Hmm.
good fundamentals.
That was going to be my next thing. So Pittsburgh is completely different than the market that Carlos is in, right? So Carlos, you're in a little more higher price point market, right?
Hmm.
Do you see maybe new investors getting burned quite a bit because it is such a high price point area?
Well, I think if you're getting burned, it's probably because you don't know exactly what you're purchasing or you don't know your numbers. I say that by experience. I'm not saying this in any way that I know anybody, just knowing by experience. The other thing is if you're buying and you're being successful, it's because you're buying right. What I mean with that, our average price median where I'm at, it's at 400K, a little over 400K. And about maybe a year ago, it was at low threes. And a year after before that, it was at mid twos. So gradually has gone up, especially in the Fresno area, which is like the Central Valley of California. And who knows if it's going to continue to go up. And a lot of things is a lot of, I think what a lot of people are banking on is an appreciation. And I think that is not probably the smartest thing you can do. I think the best thing you can do is do your due diligence when you're buying. And I also want to say those that are or flippers, be the one doing the wholesale, be the one doing the work. I did the opposite. I would rely on the wholesaler. Well, obviously the wholesaler is selling it at a premium price, and so if you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing this with due diligence. I know a lot of investors now that are that were previously wholesaler that are flipping, but because they understand how to buy right, and when you do buy right, you're going to be successful.
I like that. Liam, is there anything you're seeing from maybe buyers right now that they're doing that kind of makes you cringe in a sense on the agent side, like jumping in too soon, not doing like Carlos said, due diligence and whatnot? Is there anything that stands out in your mind?
Yeah, I think lately I've been having to reset expectations a little bit with buyers. So I think that's a big thing. If people are getting burned, usually they're going in with bad assumptions or not great expectations about how things are going or how the deal will progress or um, you know, kind of underwriting it not properly, not looking at the downside as much as they should, not being as picky on certain deals,
Mhm.
especially for, in my opinion, the flips right now in the past 6 months or a year. I'm pretty picky about which flips I would recommend to clients because I've just seen like kind of the borderline properties that maybe have some weird kind of thing going on about like a lot of steps up to the front door,
Mhm.
no parking, like previously no issue, kind of everything was going like if it was newly renovated it was going to sell, but nowadays those are definitely harder to sell. People can get burned on those. Um, so lately I've noticed that again it's still a great time to buy, it's just kind of making sure you're kind of paying more attention to some of those downsides and deficiencies that some of these properties have, where previously we didn't have to worry as much about that because things were just flying off the shelves.
Right.
Yeah, so like Pittsburgh is my primary market that I invest in, and yeah, like Liam said, I do see a lot more deals, even on the MLS, coming across my plate and whatnot. But so, like for you, Carlos, are you still? Do you think there's deals hitting the market right now, or sellers not budging on their prices out in your area?
In our area, I what I've noticed on there's a particular property I've been looking at that is off the market again for the third time, and it's already switched agents twice, and so I think there's people still trying to sell property with a wish pricing, and what I am noticing as well is they're not getting that price, so they're moving out of the way. What I also notice is just the properties that are on the market are actually I've seen a lot of properties that have been flipped come in the market most recently, and so I have to sort through all that and find the gold nugget, the one that hasn't been touched, the property. But it takes due diligence. It takes more time, and you're what Michael says. You just got to do your 20 minutes daily and look through it. And so in my neighborhood or in my area, we do see the median going up. We do see a lot of properties coming in and a lot of properties coming out. Um, I guess it all depends on why what your buy box is. Like my areas, I'm trying to look at certain neighborhoods, neighborhoods that would give me a better yield, better return uh, for a rental. And so there are a lot of, some would say not A class, but D class properties that are coming up that need a ton of work, but the neighborhood doesn't even help because where it's located, it's not, even if you do flip it or you do try to buy it to hold, it's just a risky because it's not just about the numbers, it's also about the neighborhood. It's all about, it's also about, what kind of headaches you're going to get into if you decide to buy. So in my case, I think it just seems like right now I just feel like it's balancing off, like, those that were expensive are coming out and those that are coming in. It seems like a lot of flips are coming in right now. I don't see a lot of good properties that I consider good coming in. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm playing the waiting game, but I know that there is opportunity there. And like I was mentioning earlier, there is that property I'm looking for. Now it's just now I gotta talk to the owner, but see if they were willing to budge, do the disrespectful offer, like Michael says.
Doing the work. I love it. So Liam, I know, I kind of jumped in maybe at a great time in the Pittsburgh market from an interest rate standpoint, but the
Mhm.
market was hot. And I would have to say I probably overpaid on a lot of my properties back then. Do you think that has gotten a lot of investors in trouble, like maybe when I started? Because I do see a lot of properties coming back on the market that were purchased maybe, 2022, 2023, and whatnot.
Is that when you initially bought
I
2022?
I bought 2021 around 2020,
Okay.
2021, but I really see kind of these 2022, 2023 type coming back on.
I think a big piece of that is tax reassessments. Like people forget to look at if the taxes are going to go up after you purchase. And Jeremy and I have noticed like some of these will get bought and then 2 years later they're relisted, and we'll go and look and be like, oh, they were just reassessed and their taxes doubled. So that's a
Mhm.
big piece of it, I think. Again, going back to expectations, I think sometimes people buy it, uh, realize maybe they're not getting the returns, or maybe it's more of a headache than they thought it was going to be, and those will come back online as well. Um, I think when I bought my first in 2020 and then second in 2022. Like it was a hot market. Like I think a lot of people probably were slightly overpaying at that time, but we've even from then we've seen such a run up in some of the pricing where it was probably fine. Like you were probably good. I wouldn't want to be overpaying right now because I don't see that same level of appreciation happening over the next several years. Um, with rates being higher and the market just generally a little bit slower. Uh, and there's still a good gap between buyers and sellers on pricing too. Uh, with some of the multifamilies, we're seeing that gap close because there's more inventory. I just keep an eye out for, if it's good property but slightly overpriced, I'll just keep an eye on it. See if they're doing like steady price, periodic price reductions, kind of showing that they're at least open to taking something lower. And then, when it comes in that range of striking distance, then it can definitely be something to go after.
I know a lot of people like to do flips in Pittsburgh or in the surrounding areas. The price point is much lower. But do you see people kind of maybe pivoting to a little more of a long-term wealth vision now and not and we can dig in with Carlos on that also after. But as far as flipping, instead of flipping it, but holding a lot of these properties now.
I think people need to, and I'm telling these people as well, is that you should keep that in the back of your head if you're doing a flip. Like, try to make sure you have a second exit strategy. Maybe it works for a short term or midterm rental, or you're in an ARV range where, a long term rental might work as well. You might not be cash flowing a bunch, but maybe you break even or make a little bit every month if the flip doesn't go well. So I think that's more important to look at now. Um, but yeah, the flips are still good. I don't think there's one, a right answer one way or another. Either all flips or all. rentals. I mean, I strongly default towards long-term ownership. I think rentals over the long term is what really builds wealth. I think flipping is really good for like short-term like capital influxes, but it's a job, it's more risky, more capital intensive a lot of the times. Uh, and it's just not as strong of a market for flipping, which is why I'm kind of very specific about what I would flip nowadays. I don't want to. I kind of want to make sure it doesn't have any deficiencies or weird quirks going on with the property, which we just have a lot of old weird properties in Pittsburgh, to be honest. So I'm a little bit more picky about those. Like just because something is dilapidated doesn't mean it's undervalued. Uh, which we have a lot of dilapidated, boarded up houses and neighborhoods in Pittsburgh. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good investment or undervalued or would be a great flip prospect. So I have a lot of explaining with that to do with out of state clients because they'll see a house for 70 grand and they're like, how can this not be worth 200 when you fix it up? It's just like, it's a weird property. It's set down from the street. There's some this, and this going on in the area.
Mhm.
So helping people realize like something that needs fixed up doesn't necessarily mean it's undervalued and a good flip candidate too.
Awesome help, man. But so Carlos, you've kind of been faced with kind of life and death situation, I guess, right? You've beaten cancer so far, and that's great. I love that. You're very inspirational to the community. But has that in any way kind of changed your view on real estate risk and long-term wealth building?
Definitely, I believe it has. Like Liam was saying, there's things that I don't flip no more. As like I would like that's not like a thing. Before it was like, oh man, I want to flip, because I want to get that big sum of money at the end. But this time I'm like, no, I want to. If I do anything, I want to buy and hold because I want to leave something behind. I want to give my children an opportunity, a base where they could, leverage. And I think this morning I was reading my book. I'm a slow reader, but it says start with why. And I was just reading, the reason why I do what I do. It means something. A lot of us talk about how and what, like to flip, to buy and hold. But I think the question that everybody should be asking is why are you doing it? Why take the risk? Why leverage yourself so high? And the truth is, in my case, I'm doing it because I want to leave something behind. Because you see a man here that I didn't finish high school. I didn't, I had to get to work right away. I come from a broken home, and so my opportunities weren't as well. I didn't have a great base to start with, and so I used what I had, and I got to where I'm at. Just grinding, just pushing forward, and asking questions later. And I got into flipping that same with the same concept. I was just watching YouTube and I saw an opportunity and I took it. But this time around, I want to be more conscious, more due diligence, and more understanding about the market and rates and all the good stuff that you need to know to get in. So my why is I want to leave something behind for my children. And so when I do it, I don't want to leave debt. I want to leave something where they can leverage for their future and for my wife, who has been with me through thick and thin, through the good times and through the bad times. And so I guess if you're listening, you need to understand why you're doing it. Are you chasing money? Are you chasing doors? Your why has to be very important, and because the what in the how, it's all technical. That right there is a little bit of studying, a little bit of working, a little bit of exercising the muscle, how to understand the yield, understanding all this other stuff. But the main core reason should be why you're doing it. And my why is I have a family that I want to be able to, if cancer comes back, or eventually we're all going to die. So I want to leave something for them to use for their benefits, for their future. And so, and I believe real estate is a tool that you can use to build wealth. And I mean, there's other investments that you can do, but in this one, we're talking about real estate. And I would say, first thing, invest in yourself. Second, buy, and I would say buy and hold. Right now, I think the market is a buy and hold. To flip, if you can flip, if the numbers are right, do it. But again, right now, the market is buy and hold, and that's, that's my thought.
No, yeah, I love it, man. And even, what you're doing with your family, I love that. So if people don't know, also, if they haven't seen the episode with Carlos's son Luke, who had an interview with Zuber, and he's going to be working on some gear and
Yeah.
stuff for the ORAD event. And Carlos's son is the one that has made the custom ORAD shoes for Zuber. So go check it. I think I have, you know what? Here's his page. So here's Luke's page on Instagram. Go check him out. Go follow him. Go see what he's working on. If you want some custom shoes, reach out to him. I'm gonna see if he can make some custom Crocs for me though. So I don't know if he was being serious, but go check him out. But I love what you're doing. He's what did he say? He started at 12, kind of right, like having
Yeah.
this vision of starting this
Yeah.
business, right? So that's amazing. And
Yeah.
Liam, I know we kind of touched a little bit off camera for you're going on a honeymoon soon, and
Oh,
Yep.
you're a
congratulations.
lot younger than us. Is this also for you? You kind of see the long term vision of buy and hold and whatnot.
Yeah, I think starting out like being young and idyllic and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I just want all the money in the world. I think now what I'm really prioritizing for is like stability, uh, financial stability for my wife and I. I think that comes first. And then obviously, like giving us both the lifestyle we want long term, setting ourselves up really well so we can have a family, you know, closer when we turn 30 and stuff like that. So stability and then lifestyle is kind of what I'm prioritizing for, but uh, kind of shift. And Jeremy's helped me with this too, shift my mindset towards small and mighty. Like
Mhm.
Chad Carson says, we don't have to be the biggest investor ever, but making good decisions over a long period of time, set yourself up really well, uh, and kind of creates that financial stability and so you can kind of support the family. So that's kind of my goal.
But we all can't be lucky enough to convince the wife or spouse, like for the 7 time or 8 time house hack like Jeremy,
I
right?
know,
That's the
right?
struggle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so easy.
I want to say good morning to Joe V tuning in. All Nighter Hider is back. So the man, the myth, the legend is here. So thanks for tuning in. Let's see. I saw Big Andy is here. Cashflow Johnny Ramirez is here. So yes, he also just joined the school community. He took advantage of my free 1 month offer. So hopefully he sticks around. But I think you'll love it there, man. Great people. The McCune family's here. Yes, thank you. Chasing it, too cute Hawaiians killing it. I am trying to get to 1,000. I'm almost there. So thanks for all the support, everyone. And if you don't know, like I mentioned, I may have mentioned on Zuber's video, when I do hit 1,000, I will probably have some sort of giveaway. I'm debating, trying to figure out, probably be a VIP ticket to the ORAD event, or also either a couple, like two regular, so maybe two regular tickets and one VIP ticket or whatnot, and maybe some consolation prizes of maybe Dion's new book or something. So we'll see. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I got to get to 1,000 first. So if you haven't subscribed out there, please go subscribe, like. Let's see. Oh, Grand Prix contractors here. Jim. What is the name of? Oh, Dion. Oh, Dion's here. Hey, Dion. Good morning, man. Yeah. So, like I just said, I heard your book is out on Amazon, I believe. So, I'll probably be hopefully giving some away. Once I hit 1,000, I'm going to give away a ticket to the ORAD event and some of your books as maybe second, third prizes, whatnot. Stan's here. Good morning, Stan. Yeah, I love this one. Like I said, Luke is killing it too, right, Carlos? I mean, how did you? Is he into real estate though, like you, or is he more focused on the shoe side, the business side?
I think the shoe thing, as I talked to him as I got him older, he's like, it's just a stepping stone. That I'm just using this to be in the rooms. And so, and I think this is where, the title handyman to investors, I started leveraging handyman because, I focus on real estate. And so knowing your value. And so one of the things that I'm talking to Luke about is just knowing your value and you leveraging that to go in and move higher. I think the shoe right now is a thing that he's doing. And when he did it at 12, I think I wasn't like all keen about it. I was like, all right, let, I'm happy for you, son. But there was times where he was stressing out doing his first custom because he was doing it freehand. Then he learned techniques that continue watching YouTube. He started perfecting what he did, and even this weekend we had a huge event where he had a lot of artists, rapper artists in the room, and he just talking to them. I just really enjoy watching my son because he's the complete opposite of me. He's a lot taller. He's a lot more charismatic, and he's a lot more talkative and very enjoyable to be around with. And so I do see him thriving a lot further. And I think real estate will probably be around him because mom and I, that's what we do. It's what, we do the other side of real estate when it comes to repairs and upgrading houses, flipping the houses. And so I'm hoping that we can inspire him, and that when he transitions from doing the custom shoes, he can leverage the contacts he's made, the network that he's built to do real estate. Because I think essentially one of the things that I've realized is that your network is your net worth. You know, the people that you know, the people that you socialize with, do help you. Going back to my old story, when I first got the first property, I wasn't able to flip it if I didn't have the person with the deep pockets. You know, it wasn't I wasn't continuing flipping if I didn't have met the person who gave me the private lending to do so. But this was all based on networking. This is based on leveraging what I knew at the time, and now I'm hoping that the conversations that we're having, the networking that I get involved, could be a tool that my son can use to leverage. And I know that custom shoes are going to be something he's going to use because he's talking to people that have millions of followers, millions, on social media, and social media is a tool that you can use to create and to build wealth if you know how to do it, if you're savvy. And I know that my kids are learning that. And yeah, as a parent, I think one of the things I did is put them in rooms that they were probably uncomfortable too. I put them on a charter school where they were struggling, but I kept them there. And I think if I do see my son Luke and his friends, they're the complete opposite. But they uh, they attract all these kids that are interested in doing what he does, and not only that, but I'm hoping that he can inspire other kids to uh, to pursue entrepreneurship, pursue being independent, and not only that, but to be a producer. That's one of the things my wife and I have been always teaching the kids. Don't be a consumer, be a producer, be a creator. And but I think as parents, we want our kids to thrive, and hopefully this shoe will help them. This this industry can help them network and get to where he would like to be. So
I love it. I can't wait to see what merchandise or what ideas he comes up with for
yeah.
the ORAD event in Vegas. Yes, the McCune family. Dion did put the title of the book. He says is the book is published but hasn't shown up yet. It will be under Financial Freedom for the Lazy Person, and I believe Zuber's Daily Financial News this morning. The title of the video was the title of Dion's book that's going to be coming out. Flavio says, I will send you my address where you can send the VIP. Flavio, I told you you are not eligible to win because you are my friend. So I don't want to make like this is rigged. So unfortunately, you cannot be a part of it. Nah, I'm just kidding, Flavio. Shelvin Salbert, haven't seen you here before. Oh, well, man, please subscribe and like. He says, Ozzy is gone. Yes, God bless it. Yeah. Comes in threes, right? So what was it? Ozzy, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and Hulk Hogan or Terry Crews, right? So
Mhm.
comes in threes. Craig Lester, hey, what's up, man? Haven't heard from you from a while. He says, do you have a Pittsburgh investing group? Not a. Um, we don't have a formal one, I guess, but we do have a pretty good community growing in the school community for the Pittsburgh area investors. Liam is one of the agents that we do work with. Him, Jeremy Taggart, that team, Alex Deacon. We got some good contractors in Omar, Greg Bailing. So yeah, hit us up. But if you don't know Craig, Jack from the community will be Jack is in Pittsburgh. But he will be having an in-person meetup. I believe it's September 5th through the 8th, maybe. Some. I'll try to get more information. I'll send it to you, Craig. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it yet. I just had my shoulder surgery, so my left shoulder is like a wet noodle right now. But we'll see how things work out. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Chris? Hey, Cam's here. Dion's video. Yes, Cam. Cam is a big fan of Dion. So Dion has a book coming out, so Cam, be on the lookout for that. Let's kind of before I go through more comments. So Liam, is there any zip codes in Pittsburgh that you see that might be getting a little more hype that it should be, or people kind of rushing into?
Yeah, so zip code wise, I'll give you neighborhoods. I think that some sections of the East End probably are getting a little overhyped. People are overpaying for it just because there's a lot of hype around, kind of like what we talked about with the tech scene, uh, some of the development happening there. So maybe people are getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, buying there, making like kind of high rent assumptions or appreciation assumptions that may take a lot longer than they think to actually, you know, end up happening. Um, so that's one. So the Bloomfield, Lawrenceville, East Liberty sections of the city have kind of already had that run up in price, kind of from those high income jobs that people are having there. And then so there's a big development that just got approved in Larimer, connecting to Bakery Square. So I do like that area long term. I think that's a good section to buy and hold in cash flow in the meantime. And then, probably over like a 10-year period, you're going to see some of that development. The implications there is that area maybe gets built up a little bit more, but speculatively buying and assuming you're going to have some immediate impact with rent growth and appreciation and like really great tenants there is probably not going to happen right away. So I think just generally some areas that are going to be a little bit overhyped are the ones that are kind of getting some of these announcements with tech placements or a new development gets approved and people kind of get a little ahead of their skis. So yeah, Larimer, Homewood, uh, some sections of Homestead, some sections of East Liberty. Um, those are all really good announcements. It's just they are going to take longer for those kind of good impacts to happen.
Yeah, we dove into that last week with the Deacon, Alex
Yep.
Deacon, and I love his response, right? It was kind of
Yeah.
like, it is what it is, and I'll
Yeah.
until I actually see it, right? So, like you said, a lot of people are getting excited about the news, the AI infrastructure that Trump talked about or signed off on. Was it 90 billion into the
Yeah. 90,
Pennsylvania?
92 billion or something, which is great. And I was reading up more about this. There's been a few people were a little skeptical. I think this one's kind of different from years past. Like there's been talks over the decades of like, oh, this catalyst is going to be huge for the area, and it's never really kind of happened. Um, I think this one's different. Like, kind of Democrats, Republicans are aligned on it. There's a lot of commitments being made. It's clearly something that this country wants to move forward in that direction. So I think this could be the catalyst that kind of changes things and really transforms some areas long term. But again, it's going to be long term, um, over 5, 10, 15-year period. So I wouldn't expect any immediate impacts, but keeping that in the back of your head relative to what we have now, it's still really good.
Yeah, let's see. Like I said, there is Carlos's YouTube channel. If you haven't, go please subscribe. And when you do, please come back here after you go subscribe though. So you can bounce off this live, go subscribe. He just started. So how's that been going for you, Carlos? Has it been fun? Has it been hard? What have you learned so far?
I've learned that editing is not the funnest thing you can do. I think doing it how the way you're doing it, doing live, is probably the best way. Um, I like the shorts. It's like posting or stories, but actual full content, it's more. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of retakes, and with me, there's a ton of retakes. And my daughter helps me out, and she gets frustrated. She's like, "Dad, you got to do it in one take," and so. But other than that, right now I haven't gone back and done a most recent video. Life is just life, and but hopefully I can get back on the schedule and do that. And like I said, right now I think life is just uh, rolling with the punches sometimes, and then but the YouTube channel is something I really want to do and push a little bit harder. as I get more time to do it, I'll definitely get more into it. But I'll probably do your strategy, probably do more lives, easier than the way I was doing it at the beginning, which is going and editing, and it could be a daunting task if you do it that way.
Well, you're killing it on your reels are very entertaining too. So I
Ugh,
love to go check them out on Instagram also. But yeah, I definitely like the lives. They're a lot more engaging and it's just easier. And as long as you guys are willing to come up with the topics usually, right? So as long I just put it together, I whatever top of mind you guys would like to discuss, I love that. And some Rojas Fam Adventure says Carlos is high as hell, just nodding. He said, I have learned that smoking before going live is not good.
yeah. It calms the nerves. No.
Grumpy Contractor, I believe you are letting Craig know that Thursday school at 12 Pacific, so 3 p.m. Eastern, is kind of a Pittsburgh, Western PA, surrounding areas Zoom call, and Liam jumps on when he can, or somebody from the team, Liam, Jeremy. We even got Greg bailing on handyman contractor. So yeah, we try to bring someone on, boots on the ground, answer some questions you guys may have. Craig does say yes. Craig is. I met Craig through LinkedIn. He reached out to me. I think he may have saw some of my videos about. But he invests in Pittsburgh. He's in Arizona. But he has a house for a flipping house for sale, Homewood, under contract to sell. The area. So yeah, Jeremy. I think Leah, maybe you can. That's like a block to block, right? I think the next it could almost fall under I forgot the name of the that street or area. It's like a higher priced
Oh, the
uh
Homewood. Yeah, that
yeah,
comment about Homewood. Yeah, there's so I think it's Squirrel Hill off the top of my head, or Point Breeze maybe.
Point
But yeah,
Breeze,
it's
yeah.
it's block to block, street by street. There are some Homewood in general is still a little rundown and rougher, but there's definitely still pockets or the ones that are directly adjacent to some of those higher end neighborhoods like Point Breeze or Squirrel Hill. I can't remember off the top of my head. Those can be okay. Um, it looks like he got under contract, so that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris agrees. Yeah, editing is a pain. Zuber was onto something. Yeah, so I'm definitely trying to follow Zuber's blueprint. I'm trying to build my own little mini community, really focus on the Pittsburgh area. I think it's worked well. I think we're building this good relationship with the folks, boots on the ground out there. A lot of people are looking at the Pittsburgh market. Cash flow Johnny, you hate being edit, it is difficult, but once you're live, you got to roll with it, right? You just got to put it out there, answer questions. And that's what I like about the live. Just kind of, it has to be, you have to be able to answer questions. And I think it just helps you as an investor or a business person because you can't come prepared all the time to, let's say, someone reaches out to you and wants to know answers to something or pick your brain on something. So I think the lives really help you kind of understand your kind of message or your branding or your business, whatever you're working on, right? So like Liam, he kind of has to be familiar with Pittsburgh area, the taxes, the what requirements. So I think it does help, so especially being on live. Cash flow agrees. It does help with the nerd. I believe he's talking about Carlos being high. And Craig, yes, Craig has a good sized portfolio. I don't want to get too into detail, but yeah, he says finding side by side duplexes in a good area is very difficult. And I just want to say that Craig has a good size amount of side by side duplexes. And I was like, how the heck did you find all those? But yeah, Craig's a good guy. He reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm glad we were able to connect. Let's see what else we got. Anything top of mind you guys want to discuss? Liam, maybe. What's going on? Let's see what else. Pittsburgh. I think somebody had a question. Was there someone?
Somebody else was asking about areas impacted by that $92 billion worth of investment. So I think a big piece of it is going to be kind of up the Ohio River into Beaver County. So it sounds like there's been a couple things announced up that way. Um, Kind of the surrounding counties around Allegheny and central Pittsburgh, but then obviously you have it pulling off of like CMU research facilities and stuff like that. Um, so there'll be a few different areas, I think, around like central Pittsburgh. But it sounds like Beaver County has had a few of those announced. So hopefully we see some action up there in particular.
For you, Carlos, if someone was planning to buy and fix up in 2025 in your market or your area, well, what's the biggest mistake they're likely to make, you think? What are you seeing out there?
Uh,
How's rehab? How's the cost out there for work and labor?
well,
Is
it's
your
gone
fees
up.
going up?
Yeah. Even myself, I used to charge as a handyman 65. Now it's 95, and those are hourly. And so we do a minimum of 2 hours. And so the other thing I did have noticed, like even your helpers, guys that help you out, their prices have gone up to like, 250 to 300, and it's not even, it's yeah. So I think what I have seen other flippers doing is they're hiring their staff, or are they're teaming up with other people that already have the experience and the knowledge to do the job at a costly, uh, to keep the cost down on labor. On materials. I think with materials of what I do see is a lot of people are using what when I was flipping, I was trying to use this high end product because we wanted the profit to so quick, and but now I do see a lot of people are going back to basics, stuff that are cost effective. They're still nice, and but other than that, I think one of the biggest mistakes you can do is right from the gate. You got to buy right. You got to get you have to make sure that the house will hold if your numbers are right for the holding cost, because if you're just flipping your holding cost right now, it's taking a little while. I know flippers that are waiting, they're just waiting, and the house is beautiful, the work is great, you know but there's not a lot of traction, and it's just the
That's what
way the
I've been
market is
noticing
right now.
too. Yeah.
Mhm.
So underwriting
And
with a bit more of a hold period, or if you're
yeah.
using hard money, make some good assumptions on the hard money costs and hold period as well. Yeah. And also with mine, so I'm doing my first legit flip right now. I mean, I've had
Hmm.
clients purchase a bunch of them, but um, I mean, the couple things I'm doing to make sure it gets sold is because I only have a 6 month hold period on my hard money loan. If it goes
Hmm.
past that, I have to pay a 2% extension fee for 3 months. And then if it goes another 3 months, I have to pay another 2%. So I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
But it should be getting done within like 2 months. Hopefully, list it and get it sold before that 6 months is up. But I'm going to be listing it probably 2 to 3% under what I really think market value will be. I'll be staging it. I'll be making it as easy as possible to show. I'm not skipping any corners on the rehab. It is in a good area, so that's good. But I'm not going to get greedy for an extra 5 or 10 grand when really I'm trying to prioritize for a quick sale.
Correct.
This is actually a great question. Because it was something kind of brought up also in the school community. But I've never seen this individual here. Please subscribe and like. But aloha, Carambiados. But they said if an investor that earns from you buying something tells you it's the best time to buy that same thing, you should do the direct opposite. So the question in school was somewhat related to this, but kind of like, how do you determine what a good investor agent is? So Liam,
Mhm.
how would you define to someone like what they should be looking for? What is a good investor agent?
That's a really good question. So I think it all comes down to incentives being aligned. Like we obviously want to make sure we're getting paid enough. Like we have a minimum fee that we charge, because if we're looking at anything less than, if we're working for pennies, especially for the fixers, like it actually
Mhm.
requires more work for us as an agent to work on a $70,000 burr or flip deal, because we're chiming in on comps, we're running comps, we're kind of on the back end also thinking about what like rent comps would be if it would cash flow. We're helping refer and coordinate scope of works with contractors. We're going to walk with contractors, chime in on what should be done, what needs to be done, condition, street. So it actually requires way more work for those type of investment deals than like your standard buy and hold turnkey duplex for 250,000 or whatever. We make a lot less on the fixers. So we have a minimum fee, and we structure it that way because we want to be incentivized to sell you good properties. We don't want to make $1,000 on that because it doesn't work out. So I think that's a big one. Is just making sure the incentives are aligned. And I always tell people, because it comes up, is like, why don't you just buy that property? Well, first of all, clients always get first dibs. I've passed on a bunch of deals because clients get them. The flip that I'm doing now, I actually sent to like 3 or 4 clients before I bought it, and they were kind of just sitting on their hands. They weren't really interested, so I offered on it, and that will be a really good deal. I don't know why anybody didn't jump on it, but clients always get first dibs. And our niche is investment grade real estate. That's what we like doing. That's what we do in our own portfolios. So you want to make sure that, if it's an investor agent, they walk the walk as well, and they're familiar with the process and they've done it before. Not just like, they never bought a home before. I think that's important. So aligned incentives, real experience in their personal portfolios, and then just good referrals. I mean, we've got a ton of good referrals online. That's a really good question, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of also said like it was someone, and that's willing to tell me no,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they have the vision too, that they're
That's the
looking
other thing.
for deals down the road, right?
That's so important, is how many properties are they telling you not to buy? Like that's so important. That's probably 90% of my job, is telling people why a property won't work, which is a good indication, because the incentive in the agent relationship is like, oh, they want you to close on something so they can get paid. That's not our deal. We want people to succeed. We want people for their first, and our clients skew newer a little bit, but we want our clients' investments, especially their first couple, to go well. We want them to come back. It doesn't serve us at all to be one and done. It's not what we're looking for. It's not what we're prioritizing. So yeah, I tell people all the time, probably a couple times every single day, somebody will reach out with a property. I'm like, probably doesn't work for what you're looking for this, and this reason. Even though you would think I'd be like, yeah, let's lock it up. Let's close on this thing so I can get paid. It's not how it works, though,
So even like you, Carlos, on the handyman side and rehab side, are you telling clients like, maybe you don't need to do this work, or let's try avoid or cut costs here? Like, how's that a workout for you?
But right now, I think one of the best things I do for other clients is we do a lot of these escrow repairs. We do a lot of the. I have a lot of agents that always ask me, "Hey, can you come and look at this?" I understand the process. I understand that sometimes they're leveraging those costs and repairs, depending if they're the buyer or the seller side. Um, and I think there's things that I think economic doesn't make sense to do. Like there's things that they. I want to give it a good example. We recently did a home where everything was nice, then tidy. I think the client just wanted to upgrade, and I told him, you don't have to remove the cabinets. You can paint them as they are. Save yourself a ton of money on buying cabinets that And I just gave her that perspective of that, because of the fact that I know that it costs us a lot of money to build cabinets and paint them if they're unfinished, and so you're expending more money on something that you could just put good paint, sand them down, do good work, and then get the same value as getting brand new ones. The other thing is people. People don't really, if you're focused on first time home buyers are actually looking for the first time home. They're not looking for all the bells and whistles. And I think one of the things that I learned the hard way is when I was purchasing homes and flipping them, I would deck them out, and it didn't make sense. And now looking back, I'm like, it didn't make sense for me to do all that. I could have saved tons of money by just going basic. The guys have a term called, they hotel it. So they just go in there, do a little floor, a little paint, and they put it back on the market. They clean it up. Where I was in, and I would, oh, let's knock out this wall, let's add this and that. And so I think one of the best advice I can give anybody is that sometimes keeping it simple goes a long way. There's that saying like, keep it simple, stupid, and and that's what you want to do, is keep it simple. If you're flipping, keep it simple. If you're the buyer, and if you're the seller, keep it simple. Don't complicate it. Right now, I think it's the best time to try to, unless you're above the average, and you're trying to sell multi-million dollar house, and then I think you should be doing what you need to do. But if you're below the average, and if you're in the average, I think just keeping it simple, carpet, flooring, painting, it goes a long way.
I heard a really good term that kind of goes along with that recently with flips is you can either sell steaks or you could sell hamburgers. Hamburgers is for the general population. There's a certain segment of the population that wants steaks, wants everything outdone, super high
Yeah.
design and everything, but it's much higher cost. There's a lot smaller of a buyer pool for those types of houses. Or you could sell burgers where it's nice. It's in like a the average home value range, and serves like a greater portion of the population. But I liked that kind of analogy.
Mhm.
All right. So to even to that, Dion has a great question. So Leah, maybe you can go first. I know you're like, you're a lot younger than us, so maybe you haven't thought about it as much. But how much is enough for you?
So I don't know yet. I think I need to get a little bit further along, to be honest, because I've always defaulted towards like I want to go big. I want to have like thousands of units someday. Like that's kind of how I started my career. Is like I want to build a massive company someday. Um, and Jeremy's helped me with this too. Like he is very much small and mighty. He doesn't want to take things to a point where it eats into his family life or something like that, or where it's taking away all the free time that you've been able to earn because you did all the work up front. So I think I need to get a little bit further along in my career, kind of hit that financial freedom mark, and then I'll really know if I want to take things further and really build something big.
Mhm.
But I would say a baseline level of cash flow, and probably, I mean, at least like 30 units long term, I would say. Um, I think I'll end up, hopefully, I think I'll end up with something more than that over the long term. But I think the enough number, is TBD. I'm kind of going through a transition with that. I need to get a little bit further along and kind of get close to the stability point where I can make a clear decision about that.
I love that. Carlos, what about you? Like you said, you kind of, you know, overcome some things the past few years. Has things changed? Like, what is your enough now, maybe?
I think right now being present, being in the moment, I think we do get in a little hamster wheel, and we're just pushing, pushing, pushing. And the worst thing, like, you could be in the hamster wheel and not know why you're in there. Yeah,
Mm.
it's like, yeah. And for me, I think my moments are just being here and bringing value, yeah, and being like yesterday. I was just at my kid's soccer practice, and I was watching him. He would run to me, drink his water, and I talk to him briefly, and then go back in there. And before I wasn't there, like I wouldn't go to the practice, or if I was going to the practice, I'm on the phone, or I'm stressing out. And but right now, I just being in the moment, being in the present, and the truth is, just like Liam, I don't know what's gonna happen around the corner or down the line. Yeah, but I know that every day, I prioritize my one-on-one with my kids. I have 5 kids, so I got 2 daughters and 3 sons, and they're all in different ages, different stages of life. I got a 20-year-old and a 9-year-old, so, and all the kids in between. And so for me, I think, if I realize anything last year, like, I need to know more. I want to be more in depth with family, more in depth with life, and real estate is fun. Real estate investing, all that, doing the work, that's fun. But when you're laying down looking at the ceiling, and you're wondering, did I spend enough time, with my loved one? Do they know that I love them? Do they know that I care for them? Do they know that I want the best for them? I want to reassure that, and I think, uh, I think we're all at fault sometimes at one point in our life, that we just want to hustle, we just want to work, and we strive for big things. But if you lose focus on why you're doing it, then you're just chasing your own tail, I think. And but that's just my opinion. For me, I guess just being present, being in the moment, and I'm hoping that the end of this year or the rest of this year, I get what I've been looking for. I started the year real rough, and I'm in the midpoint, and and I think that that the life is just too beautiful for me to just keep licking my wounds. And I think one of the things is uh, I'm excited for the next months, and I'm paying attention, and I'm observing what's happening, and I think we'll I'll answer, but I probably have a better answer at the end of this year. Uh, and so, but for right now, I'm just in the moment, being present.
At the next ORAD event, you'll have your answer for us, right?
Oh, definitely will. Yeah.
Flavio says, Carlos, your life is inspirational, and I totally agree. Like I said, I think for me it was really eye opening. I just got back from Japan about a week and a half ago. I just had shoulder surgery, but I am planning to probably step away from the firehouse a lot sooner than I should. Um, I'm sure I'm going to be stepping away with leaving a lot on the table, but just like you said, being present, traveling with my son a lot more. I mean, those are the kind of things I want to do. And
Right.
like I said, I felt like I just saw him grow up. He's going to be 10 in a few days, but just in Japan, also just seeing the type of education you can get by traveling and seeing other countries and stuff. So I really want to do a lot more of that. So yeah, the plan right now is probably end of next year. I'm going to step away from the firehouse. I mean, that's kind of the well, let's not say I'm thinking. I will. I'm going to step away at end of next year from the firehouse at the latest, maybe sooner. We'll see what happens. But yeah, yeah. Hopefully, like I said, Carlos, I get to see you at the ORAD event again in February. I'm sure you're planning to be there. And they said we're trying to figure out maybe get Liam or Jeremy there. Try to work something out and see if we can
Yeah,
get one
that
of
would
them
be
Yeah.
there.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. But yeah, anything else you guys want to touch on? Any top of mind? I don't know how long you guys have. I'm good to go. So, but yeah, anything else you want to share? What you're working on? Like I said, there's Liam's the Team Taggart Instagram page. So if you want to connect with him, know more about the Pittsburgh market, go reach out to him. Go follow him over there. He's on my channel maybe every other. Him or Jeremy, I kind of rotate them. So one of them usually is on every week. Jeremy will be back on Friday with Sarah Bloom, who was in Pittsburgh, who's in Detroit now. There was some comments about the Detroit market on some of my reels, so she's gonna have to come and defend herself because they said Detroit is horrible. But and then there's Carlos's YouTube channel, so let's help him grow that channel. So go please subscribe, and also Carlos's Instagram page. But yeah, you got any sneak peeks you can tell us, Carlos, about what Luke's top of mind for his gear or merchandise? Maybe I don't know.
I think he talked to Mike about maybe a few days ago. So I don't know. I think they're keeping it hush hush because I haven't heard anything either. So
Uh,
it's gonna be nice. I
yeah.
imagine.
I mean, I know Zuber didn't really want to sell stuff there,
Mhm.
but I think a lot of people would buy stuff. So hopefully
Yeah,
he changes his mind a little bit and does have some gear and apparel there. I think
yeah,
that it'll do well.
yeah. I hope so too.
Anything else, Liam, from Pittsburgh? Any last any deals you got to share with people or reach out to? You got anything new you got?
Yeah, I got nothing right now. I mean, just kind of staying steady. We've been seeing a few good like multi-unit and single family fixer deals that have been penciling. So just kind of keeping an eye on those. Those types of clients are hungry for those types of deals. So we don't see a ton of great ones that pencil. So try to capitalize them on when they do hit the market. So just plugging away, trying to get some stuff done before next week when I leave town.
Well,
So
let me ask you this then, Liam. A lot of people are pushing for interest rates to be cut, hoping for lower mortgage rates. Is that something you're hoping for, or do you think it'll just get too crazy in your area?
that's a good question. I think that it will happen probably next year is we're gonna get a good dip in interest rates, but yeah, I think it would probably get a little crazy again. But maybe not. I mean, maybe it kind of just opens things up again because it's a little slower right now on the flip side. Um, there's still that gap between the buyers and sellers. So maybe that closes a little bit more if interest rates come down, it starts to justify things a little bit more. I think the COVID era was just such an outlier. Like the amount of craziness that was going on. That was right when I joined and became an agent
Mhm.
too. It was like early 2022. So it was kind of interesting being exposed to that for the first 6 months or a year. and then things started to normalize. Um, but no, I don't think. I guess I wouldn't go too crazy. Like everything's not gonna go under contract in a day again, but it might kind of result in it'll open things up a little bit more, which would be nice.
What about you, Carlos? Were you being serious about you flying out to Pittsburgh and doing work out there? Because, like I've told people, we are having hard times sometimes finding contractors, handyman. It is still busy out there. So, is
Mhm.
that something you're on your plate? Are you maybe considering investing out of state somewhere and doing the
You
work
know,
yourself?
wherever it makes if it makes sense, then I'll do it. Yeah, I'll ask questions later. But other than that, I think it was just I was just kidding. But if I can take the whole family, I would go. And because we're a whole, we come together. So we're a big tribe of 8. So uh, you know, if wife says,
Um,
let's do it, we'll do it.
maybe you can clarify a little bit with me. So the live stream you were doing on Instagram the other day, is that so that's your guys' hub now? You guys are streaming from like a workplace kind of
Oh, on Saturday, you mean?
yeah.
No, there, right there is where my son does his custom. It's like a little studio that is open to the public. There
Uh
is fees to subscribe to use the area. Um, it is Factory 41 is the building, and the the school, the technology part is someone my son has networked with during high school and now, and gave us access to it. And it is a place we would like to do our lives and do our podcast. It's in talks. Luke is handling that part, and but yeah, we eventually we would like to do something in there. It looks better than our kitchen table, and
Hey,
so yeah,
like I think Hyder said earlier, just record, put it out there, right? I mean, it takes some time, but have fun with it. But yeah, there's
yeah.
Luke's Instagram page if you do want any custom shoes or get some items. The people are saying, do not let him make me custom Crocs though. So that's some of the people in the comments are saying, do not let him make a custom Crocs for me. But
It'll be interesting to watch. Yeah,
I hope you had fun, Carlos. Hope you're willing to do this again. Like
yeah,
I said,
definitely.
always good time. Liam's great on here. I think it's been working well. We're getting a lot of people thinking about the Pittsburgh market. Great information. He's able to answer things that are on people's top of mind. So I think it really helps people to see what we're building there, and they're not going into the market blind. So,
Right.
and like I said, Liam's team, not just himself, but Jeremy Taggart, like I said, Alex. We have a lot of contacts there, so people are able to kind of put a face to this name and see what people are doing out there. But Carlos, you want to maybe wrap us up? I don't know if you want to share your bull and cow kind of story. I think that's very inspirational and moving, and how you want to look at things. But you shared that on my interview I did with you. But you want to talk
Yeah.
about that again real quick?
Well, definitely. I think one of the things that I think this morning when I woke up and I was thinking what we would talk about, and I really, really strongly believe that if you have to have a strong why, it is uh, maybe this is from a 45-year-old guy with and I'm just saying to you, if you're like Liam in your late 20s, early 30s, or even younger, like my son Luke, he's barely 19. Um, you know, having your why is very important. And I had mentioned earlier, I think I got my why last year when I'm in my 40s, and other people I've met, even when I met my first, the lady that helps us with private lending, she goes, I knew my why since I was 8. I remember when it just clicked on in my head, and when I remember hearing her that, I just thought to myself, wow, everybody wakes up at a certain time. We're born and then we wake up with a purpose. And I think one of the things is, uh, if you're investing or just in general in life, one of the things that's important that you need to know why. And then the reason why we talk about the cow and the buffalo of the bull is that one of the advice that I can give you is that you got to face the storm. You got to go face, straight into the storm, regardless the sound of thunder, the constant rain on, the the look of how everything looks like. You just got to move straight into it because what you don't realize is that once you go towards it, you're going to realize you get out sooner than if you would be like a cow, and the cow is running away and not realizing that the storm is in that same direction. You're in the storm longer, just you know, not not being aware or not being bullish to go forward. And I just feel like I just it's a analogy that you have to be. It's life. I think you just got to be forward. Like you just can't be hiding or cowering or wondering. I think it's very important that you push forward through whatever difficulties you're going through. Um, and I don't take it lightly. Some difficulties are very out of our control. And even if we push forward, they're just out of our control. I think this is where we rely on something bigger than us. We rely on the source and the creator, that he has a purpose and a plan for what we're going through. And I hope that our conversations can be a conversation of value, and a conversation that will inspire you and push you forward. And the difficulties that you're going through may feel difficult right now, but just remember, it's only moments. We got moments here. There are good times and there are moments that are bad times, but just moments. They're seconds. Because in the next 5 years, what I remember what I'm going through, and I can tell you when I was at the hospital and I was feeling like I was gonna die, I wasn't thinking about my real estate portfolio. I wasn't thinking about my investments. I wasn't thinking about anything but just like, hey, I'm about to lose my life, and are my kids are gonna be okay? Is my wife gonna be okay? Did I do what I needed to do while I was here? And so when you start looking at life like that, I just feel like you'll thrive. You would take advantage of what you have. You know, like Liam. Liam is a young cat. Liam. You're about to get married, and bro, that comes
Already
with its
married,
own.
but yeah.
Yeah,
We got
Honeymoon next week. He's
yeah,
going
we
on
oh,
got
honeymoon.
married
vacation.
All right.
at,
Yeah,
even better, yeah. We got married in
yeah.
October, but she's in CRNA school and this is her summer break, so we're doing the honeymoon next week. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah. Well, I
But yeah,
mean,
it's a massive change. It kind of shifts
yeah.
priorities and perspectives and stuff like that. And especially with her having no income because she's in school for 3 years,
Mhm.
it kind of just really dials in the focus and everything. But we're very excited.
Well, enjoy the honeymoon. Enjoy everything.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
If I could give you advice, my wife and I had kids right away, and so
Hmm.
enjoy this time. Enjoy
Yep,
it. Yeah, and be involved with her, and yeah, enjoy it.
can't wait.
Yeah, so as you probably know, Liam will probably not be around for a few weeks, maybe a couple weeks. But like I said, Jeremy Taggart will be back on Friday with Sarah Bloom. And hopefully, Carlos had a good time. Hopefully, he'll be willing to do this again. But if not, Carlos, I believe you're going to be doing something regular, right, on Zuber's channel on Mondays. What is that
Yes,
again?
Monday. It's called Money Mondays. That we call it now. It used to be called the Hub. Now it's Money Monday, and we got guests coming in. Just ran. We had a management property. Now we're gonna have a home inspector and stuff like that. So it's exciting.
All right. And yeah, so Liam, like I said too, if you have any contacts, like those are kind of people I also want to get on in the Pittsburgh area. If you have any home inspectors, appraisers that you think would have a good, they got to somewhat have a personality also, right? It can't just be, but if they're a good fit, I think that would be good to get some of them on. And like I said,
Yeah, I
hopefully we can
got I
get
got
you out to
someone in mind
Vegas.
for that. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. Let me
we got
know.
a good
Or
specter. Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe when you get back from your honeymoon, have a good time. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. I will have Jack, Boots on the Ground Jack in Pittsburgh, and Curtis, PE turned RE, from the Tacoma, Washington area. And we'll be back tomorrow live streaming. So thanks everyone and have a good day.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
See
See
ya.
ya.